Hi, I'm Rob from Kimpex, joined today with Zoe from Leatt. Zoe, thank you for joining us, coming all the way from BC to tell us a little bit about
Boots.
boots. Let's
Yeah,
talk. Let's
let's
talk
talk.
boots. Tell me a little bit about the lineup here, how many models maybe you have within the lineup, and some of the differences between them.
Great. Yes, we have basically three main models, and
Okay.
then we have a few variations of these models for off road. Um, so we start with the 5.5 on the end over there.
So here we have the 5.5.
Yes, and this is our top of the line. Definitely has the most protection in it. Obviously, being Leatt and being a protection company, that is key and is number one. But what really stands out with this boot is our flex lock system, which is right here with that little red piece in there.
I've
So
seen this, yeah. And this is explained to me because I understand that most companies focus um, on more rigidity and less movement for the protection, when you guys realized within your testing that it was a little bit of side to side motion actually helped the impact.
yeah, so I think what's happened is a lot of consumers, just from growing up before knowing a lot of this, believe that their boots need to be really rigid,
Hmm.
but actually it's the other way around. You want the boot to flex, to take the hit, just like a bit of a crumple zone in your car, for example. You
Right.
want the vehicle to take the hit so the body doesn't. So that's the kind of the idea behind actually most of our protection, is that the protection takes the hit. So in this case, you're right. If you take a big impact to the foot or the ankle, what we've learned is that you want your ankle to kind of rotate just a little bit
Hmm.
to take some of that energy away from your knee and your ankle, because that's where that energy will end up going if the boot is too stiff.
Yeah, so energy is a question of transferring of the energy. Energy doesn't disappear, it's just transferred, and that's just the laws of physics.
Hmm.
But it would transfer up instead of being at the ankle, it would flex, it would go right up to the next one, which would be your knee, and
Hmm.
on from there.
And we all know those are not injuries anybody wants to deal with. We're coming back from those injuries are
No, absolutely not.
it's difficult.
Can we see it actually flex, or is it so stiff that we
Yeah,
can't see the?
so basically this red piece here, there's a rectangular hole, and then there's a pin on this black piece here, and it allows it to slide forward and back. So I'm just going to show you on my knee, but basically it allows movement, but it will stop it so it doesn't go too far.
Hmm.
So you want about 30% of your ankle rolling, but no more. Um, and that will reduce basically impacts to your ankle by up to 37% and to your knee by 35%.
And again, Leatt has their very own testing facility in Cape Town, so they're able to check all of this stuff right in-house, which is a huge bonus, of
Yes,
course,
absolutely.
if you could describe it as that. Yeah.
For sure. And then, of course, we know there are some people that do prefer stiffer boots, even though we don't recommend it. We do offer another piece in the box that has a round hole that will lock it out if you choose that that's the way you want to go.
Right, so the boot can be locked out, or you can keep the flex. Um, I'd go with the science at this point, keep the flex, but at least you have the option within it, so that's a good idea.
The other thing I'd like to mention is all of our research we publish. So if you're ever wondering, oh, how does this work? Well, how did we get to this conclusion? You can go to the exact product on leatt.com and scroll down, go to documents or white papers, and it will give you probably more information than you're looking to find out, but it's all there.
Usually when information is open like that, then the information is most likely true information, so I think it's wonderful you guys are doing that.
Yeah, yeah, we're well science based, so we do like to inform people. There are obviously a lot more features to the boot. Just kind of quickly to cover a few. Again, the toe box, it was really important that it was narrow so that you can get under the shifter easily, and it's very comfortable to use. Um, the sole, I would say too, so this is an MX sole. We do offer these boots in an enduro sole as well. The actual compounds of the sole are the same in both. It's just more to do with the tread pattern. You get a little bit more siping on the heel and the toe on the enduro one, because you tend to have to walk around maybe a little bit more than you would at a motocross track.
Right.
And then the different colors here, you can see the black part of this sole is elongated. Some of our competitors stop a little bit earlier, but really if you're riding in the proper riding position, you should be on the balls of your feet. on the peg.
Is this a different compound than the white?
It is, yes.
Okay.
The black is actually a stickier compound, and then the lighter color is a harder compound for durability. You can replace the soles on the 5.5 and the 4.5 if you need to. It's a full sole replacement. It's not just the middle part.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is that something you send into Leatt to do, or?
No, we sell the soles separately. So you would order them at your local dealer,
Okay.
and then take it to a cobbler. But not all cobblers can do it, so definitely check with the cobbler to see if they've done MX boots before. And if they have, they should be able to do ours as well.
Excellent.
Mm-hmm. Another quick feature I should mention too is how flat the boot is on the inside. It's really important, or especially our testers that we have some good riders that we work with really closely. Johnny Walker being one of them, and we had Ryan Sipes also for quite a few years of development. And both of them said they wanted it to be as flat as possible on the inside to really get closer to the bike and grip better.
Sure.
Then you're more part of the bike.
Definitely.
At that point. And then a really nice feature too is the material on the inside, and this goes for all the boots, is antibacterial. So that means it's going to take a lot longer to smell than if it wasn't an antibacterial material.
We don't want that with no bacteria for us. So let's check out when we move down to, this is the 5.5 going on to the
4.5.
4.5.
Yes. So 4.5 has basically all the same features as the 5.5 minus the flex lock system. So we have removed it here and replaced it with a regular pivot. So you still have movement forward and back a bit, but you just don't have that limiting side to side movement. We also took the protection from the back off because again that adds price, so you don't have that limiting protection on the back that you do on the 5.5. The buckles are the same shape, but they are made of it's a carbonite material, so it looks like plastic, but it's not. It's really, really strong. It's just less expensive than an aluminum buckle.
Sure.
So that takes a bit of the price point away. And then last but not least, on the inside of the 5.5, we've put some 3DF foam around the ankle. So when you get hit from the side or anything like that, it gives you some impact protection there. On the 4.5, we've gone for a regular foam. So when you try on a 4.5 next to a 5.5, even though they're the same size and the molds are the same, you might find you have a little bit more space in the ankle on the 4.5 than you would on the 5.5.
Due to the extra armor.
Exactly.
Involved.
It all breaks in, but just to give you an idea why it would feel a little bit different.
Okay.
And then the full line, actually, just so you know, there's different brands fit differently. Our brand fits a little bit wider. I'm not saying it's like very wide. It's just wider than a lot of the other brands on the market. So if you have a wider foot, definitely try the Leatt. Don't shy away if you don't have a wide foot, however, because it still fits really well.
I enjoy wide foot enough also just for socks. I feel that little bit more space allows me to have a different variety of socks depending on the conditions. So I don't tend to mind it, but I probably do have a wide foot to begin with.
Do you? Okay. Interesting.
A little bit wide, not too wide.
Perfectly wide.
Perfect. Yeah. Yeah. For sure.
Another huge feature that I really can't miss, and this is on all of our boots, because this is definitely, it's a Leatt designed thing, and it sounds really simple, but it's such a pleasure to put your boots on, which I'm sure not many people will say that about their dirt bike boots. But basically, when you go to put your boot on, obviously you would start with the buckles undone, get your foot in, and then you would work your way up from the bottom. So often what I would do is I would just kind of lightly attach the Velcro here because you know you're going to have to readjust it. Start moving up the boot with the buckles. And then you would get to this point and it would start pinching because it's not in the right place. So then you'd have to undo the Velcro, and then re-stick it. With ours, you just slide it shut.
Yeah, that's something I haven't seen before.
So it's a one-way Velcro. It's called the slide lock cuff.
Interesting.
And this goes for all of our boots. And really what we found is if you're wearing knee pads or knee braces or anything, or even not, and you want a better seal around the leg, it's just a much easier way to adjust and to have it as tight as possible.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a feature I've not seen before, but it makes sense to me.
Yes.
And if we moved from this one here over to this boot.
So our 3.5 boot, this is really designed to be an entry level, more of a price point boot. So it still gives you, a low toe box, lots of protection in the heel, You still have a dual compound sole. Here you can see this is a little bit more of the enduro sole. You get a little bit more siping on this one. But no hinge on this one really, because it is a more price point boot, but you still retain that slide lock cuff on this one as well.
And the antibacterial insides are on all of them?
On
or
all of them.
on all of
Yeah.
the boots? That's good. And I see over here you have something that looks a little bit smaller.
Yes. So this is the 3.5 Junior. It is exactly the same as the adult version, obviously just shorter and just proportionately smaller. And we make it in really, really little kid sizes all the way up to basically size 6. And then once you go to size 7, you would go to the adult boot.
To the adult boots. So for little people out there, this boot's for you. And lastly, I see that you have a more armored, apparently, boot.
So this is also a 3.5 boot. So it's got the same base of everything, but we had some requests for the stitched sole. Some people still prefer the stitched sole. It's not necessarily better or worse. It's more of a style thing. A few people have said to me that they'll shift with the edge of their actual stitched sole, but I mean, it's a preference thing. So we decided to do it on the 3.5 Hydro Dry boot. So this boot is the same, other than the sole, to the other 3.5, but it has a waterproof membrane in it. And this is the Hydro Dry Evo, which is our 20K over 20K waterproof breathable membrane. And it comes up all the way to here. So you get quite a lot of coverage there. And then you keep that slide lock cuff up here as well.
Wonderful. So many options out there for those of you who are looking for a boot and want to stay safe this season.
I should mention we do a Hydro Dry in the 4.5 as well. I just don't have the sample here right now. But
it's an option, or it's...
You can buy the 4.5 Hydro Dry.
With or without?
Yeah, you would just have to choose the Hydro Dry model versus the non-Hydro Dry.
Wonderful. So you can choose to stay dry or
not. We also have an adventure boot coming out, so stay tuned for that.
And as all the rest of their products, there's many different colors available, yes?
Yes.
You can go to kimpex.com to check those out, or check out Leatt's website as well. Well, thank you, Zoe, for joining us today. Much appreciated.
Thanks for having me.
Yes, and thank you all for watching. Happy shopping.